So I've got an agenda. So I'm going to talk about some of the MarTech trends, some of the conversations I have in customers, a lot of the clients, people who's really presented are actually having the challenges, the importance of first-party data, and you obviously read that personalisation and the way you do it. I think we're a California-based company, we've been doing this for about 12 years. We've seen a lot of changes. I think where we may be a little bit different is we actually are able to service that data in real time and make it actionable while the user's actually in session. So it's almost like having an online sales assistant while the person's in the site. We're only interested in people that aren't going to convert. You know, people, if you guys, like, especially the guys that navigate, they're doing really good ad campaigns. Someone should come along and the text line and go, this person's going to buy a product, leave them alone. Absolutely leave them alone. I don't know about you, but I get really annoyed when the first time I go to a site it says, hey, 10% off. I'm like, you don't know my fucking name, leave me alone. I find it really annoying. I think it destroys the brand. It certainly pisses me off because you don't even know who I am and what I'm there for. And I've seen that a lot with some of the biggest brands in the world. Some strategies, I've got a couple of case studies, and then why I think machine learning is so important for personalisation. But it's also, when you build that data, what do you do with it? As well as optimising the site, what else can you be doing with it? And I hope you find that interesting. I'm conscious I've got a lot of slides, so I'm going to do the Billy Whiz version of this. Omni-channel marketing, everyone's talking about it. What does it actually mean? Obviously, means trying to get everything synced together, which is why you're hearing the CDP become the common thing. We've got one as well. You know, not very groundbreaking. A lot of people are breaking into that world, but we launched a CDP for that reason. How do you keep all that marketing, all that data together and create synchronized messaging, not just on site, but beyond? We also are able to take that data from a personalization platform to power email, SMS, push notifications, etc. I find this one interesting because everyone wants privacy, they also want a personalised experience, which is a really hard balancing act. So don't know anything about, if I don't want to say anything about me, but I want you to talk to me like you know who I am. It's a really tough thing to get around. And then building brand communities. So a lot of our customers are doing this quite well, actually, which is where they're just talking to customers and finding out more about them. They can create better experience and better planning. So challenges, talked about that. Transparency and protection is a really hard thing to do. Keeping up with technology advancements, you've heard some great technology already, and there's more coming all the time. Because of that personalisation, the growth of CDPs, there's more data, managing that's getting really hard. And then this, I think, is really important. So delivering personalised messages, but doing it at scale smartly and intelligently. And then, I think mentioned earlier, proving ROI. It's a challenge I have as well. It's exactly where you're coming from. It's very tough. But we suggest to clients using Google click impression trackers to show we're not laughing around home. Oh, I've got to do that. Oh, that's as amazing as I get my emotion. I'm not going to bore you with this, you've all heard it. I saw a great quote from someone from Salesforce, not just Google, where it said, this is going to be a really rocky ride for everyone, but it's the right thing to do. There's going to be challenges along the way, but once it's done, it should be better. We had an experience about 3 or 4 years ago. You remember when Safari and Firefox cut all their cookies? We got lots of clients saying, Andy, we see lots of new users. They're not new users, you just cannot recognise them anymore. Which got our CTO to go, shit, we need to do so. So we've built a cookieless solution called Privacy ID, which allows you to legally politely recognise new and returning users, which is all of a sudden getting a lot of interest, no surprise. First party data, you know why it's important. It's all that data on site that allows you to personalise, create really good experiences, create much better communication with your customers, for longevity and better ROI. We do a CPA, I know Pete and the other guy mentioned that they do CPAs, we do that. But I think, again, fixed things always better. The reason for that is when you find a CPA, it's a great way for your clients to say, let's try it, it's not very risky. But it means that the tech's only going to work to that CPA. If you work to a fixed fee, the tech's going to look for the lowest point in conversion. And I'll give you a really good example of that. There's a very famous Japanese car brand that called me up and said, hey, I hear you do a CPA. I said, yeah, we do. Okay, we want to pay a CPA for test drives. I said, okay, how much do you pay for a CPA for test drives? £1,500. I thought, they're not selling Ferraris. He said, that's the problem. That's why CPA is so high, because our consideration, we're so far down the list of consideration. We have to pay more than, say, an Mercedes with BMW to even get on the list. All right, what's your budget? £5 grand. Right, so I'm going to get you 3.5 test drives and we're done. No, don't do that. So I said, what we should do is look at your test drives, look at your brochure downloads, look at your storeroom visits, and create a combined CPA target. The combined CPA target of 1,500 is at 365 quid. They went, yeah, okay, we can live with that. I said, but let's not work into a CPA, just give us your £5 grand, let's just keep getting as many conversions as possible. After the first month, it came in at £8.65. And I just looked at it and I said, oh, thank you. And they were really pleased. But obviously, their conversion rate went from 0.13 to 18%. They then went to a Google-based agency, that particular brand. And I thought we were going to lose them because they just work on Google, but actually we're still working with that brand, that agency as we speak. So just you are the best performing thing that we work with that particular gold brand. And I only said what it was. But yeah, so yeah, really cool stuff. So I think CPA is great for agencies selling to clients and saying trying to potentially get the deal done, but actually if you can convince them to a fixed fee, it's way better because they get better results. And this is the benefits. The source of data that you've heard already. I don't need to repeat what these guys have said is so important. It means you get better insights. I think the good thing about the stuff that we do is it's making it actionable in real time while the user's actually in the session, so you can actually engage with those users and create better conversions. We give a dashboard to our customers as well, so you can see exactly what's going on, not just what we're doing, but actually what's going on in the site. So you get 360 list of your website. So someone like Manisha, you can see what not just we're doing, but also there's Manisha, but not just we're doing, what the search is doing, what the social is doing. So you get a full 360 view of the site. This for me is so important. That increased trust. This is so important. And okay, 40% more revenue for companies that that don't do it, you get better results. We've heard it 2 or 3 times already, so I don't really want to repeat it. But this customer acquisition, reducing it by 50%, increase efficiency. And I know Pete mentioned that. I've got a few clients talking like that to me as well. I'm like, it's the wrong thing to do. I was with one client the other day. Can I tell you? No, I can't tell you. They do experiences. They spend about 200K a year with us. We generate about 6 million in revenue for them. They said, we've got to cut costs. I went, right. So we might be getting a review. This is amazing. We have an email provider who wants to use their data to optimize our website and get rid of us. I'm like, but we see 5 billion data points that we could pay your email with far better. She went, that's much better idea. So thankfully I rescued it, but it was an interesting conversation. And these sort of strategies, so contextual, this was kind of a big thing with the demands of cookies. So contextual is kind of a really big thing. I'm seeing a couple of new SEO businesses that are really excited doing this and using that data to power content creation as well. And that also helps the on-site behavior targeting. So it's the experiences in real time are really important. Customers expect that, but respects their data as well. We have a product recommendation engine, so we actually plug into Google's AI product recommendation engine. Now, love them or hate them, we looked at quite a few, and it was the best by mile. So we use our tech to look at the right person at the right time, and then we plug into Google's recommendation engine to sort of surface from the client's catalog the most statistically relevant products. So if I'm looking at a car, it will surface the doormats, etc. So it makes it much more sophisticated. And the results back it up. Case study from New Balance. So we did an A/B test, uplifting net revenue 22%, and average AOV of 15%, achieving an 11x ROI. We generate 1,000 conversions every month for mobile. We do some really cool stuff as well, not just monetary conversions. We work with there's a company in Italy that's an Italian equivalent of iPlayer, but we measure the emotion. So it asks the user, how are you feeling today? You know, we go in an airport, you've got the red grumpy face through to smile. When you click on that creative, it selects the most statistically relevant content for the user to look at what program, etc. So it becomes emotionally engaging, which is really cool. This is for Carrefour. So we've been working with these guys for quite some time across Europe, and the engine got quite intelligent enough to know when something's in the basket, it can pretty much predict what they're cooking, what recipe. So no surprise, it starts recommending the ingredients to go with that recipe. Average increase in value in terms of products, bought, revenues, etc. We've been working with us for a couple of years, and it's a really cool thing to see actually when it happens. I mentioned cars. We did another one where can I tell you what it is? I won't. It wasn't English brand, it's now owned by the Chinese. There you go, giving it away. Someone will work it out who knows their cars. But they cut their search budget by 50%. Everyone knows when everyone's trying to buy a car last year, there's a massive chip shortage. So site traffic dropped by 1/3. So they said, so can you help us? Oh, geez, thanks. So you cut your search budget and the site traffic dropped, you want to improve performance. So their search performance only dropped by 11%, even though they cut their budget by 50%, because we're creating increased dwell times, longer engagement. But the actual performance of the site, even though the traffic had dropped by 1/3, went up 5x. So the test drives, brochure downloads, etc., all went up 5 times, which was amazing. To a point they were fencing for a wall. So I'm able to come in next time and do a trophy, but yeah, it was amazing. So we did I think everyone said about doing more with less. So people are cutting budgets. Yeah, we can definitely do more with less. Oh, lots there. So look, AI, why is it important? Obviously, that improves user experience. You know, when someone comes into your site, make them feel welcome, make them feel special. It's so important. But doing that in a way in real time that matters and makes the statistically relevant is so important. So, for example, I've talked to someone earlier. We're not really interested in doing it, convert straight away. You know, our tech will see someone, see their behaviours, and say, we can tell by their behaviour they're going to come in and buy this shirt for 300 quid or whatever, a bit expensive for a shirt, but you know, leave like, no point. You look a bit lost. You're about to lose. Because there's something that's tactically relevant, sense to keep them in. Which obviously means you get increased engagement. So we do the product offering as well. We can do email, SMS. We can do. We have a CDP as well that goes beyond the actual site now. The targeting is really important, as everyone else has already said. Higher conversion rates means better loyalty. Doing more with less, I think, is so important. I said it, I keep saying it, and optimise the revenue. So, you know, as mentioned earlier about justifying that revenue uplift is really important, and we're doing really well in that field right now. And we've only been in the UK for 2 years. We've over about 40 clients. Got quite a few trading deals with some agencies. And I did think to me that's important for agencies that they don't just sell media, they have to start selling solutions. Because just selling media means you're probably not going to be an agency in 5 years' time, being brutally honest. So that's why we love working with that. That's it from me. I hope, did I do it in 15 minutes? Well, hello, Austin. Thank you, guys.